This is how I would use GitHub Copilot in VS Code to make sure that it does exactly what I want it to do without necessarily fighting with it. In my VS Code project over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my, first of all, I'm going to open my key bindings or keyboard shortcuts. And then I'm going to search for show chat. And there I'm going to add a keyboard shortcut, which is Control Command C. This will allow me to access immediately the GitHub Copilot widget or tab over here directly from my keyboard. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to open our folder or file that we want to edit. And then I want to edit this segment over here where I wanted to actually create the certs folder before it creates the certificate and the key. This is simple Go code for a TLS web server. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the code that I want to edit, and then I'm going to select it all. And then I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut to jump to GitHub Copilot chat. And there I'm going to say, make sure that the certs folder is created with the permissions 0755, check for errors, and make sure that the rest of the code is not altered. And then I'm gonna hit enter. Now, what I love about the chat is the fact that it's gonna use the highlighted code as context. And then it's gonna show me exactly the code changes it's gonna do, so I can really compare and diff the code before I apply it. And then if I want to iterate on it, I can do it immediately from here without necessarily jumping back and forth and switching a lot of context. And sometimes if this needs to take a little bit of time, I can continue reading my code while the solution is being generated. And the last thing I love about it is that it actually shows me the changes here in plain text, and it explains why these changes were made, and sometimes explains certain things that I might have taken for granted. So you can see here that the certs directory is being created. It's using the appropriate permissions. It's doing error control or error checks. It is using the certs dir that it generated in the proper location, and it's appending it as a prefix to the file name of the certificates for the certificate and the key. So everything here looks great. I'm going to press this button over here to apply the change. There's some issue with the indentation that I'm going to fix right now, or you can just use a linter, which I'm not doing in this project. And the final step is to save the file, go to my terminal, make build to do the verification building, and then you can also run your unit tests in this case. That's it. That's my daily workflow.